Hello my dear students, welcome back to your online class. So today we'll be discussing the last topic from this chapter, that's chapter 1, plant tissues. So in our previous class we have already discussed in detail about as we know that there are two types of tissues, right? Plant tissues, meristematic and permanent. So we have already discussed in detail about the meristematic tissue, its function and the structure of the cells, right? And we have the permanent tissue further can be divided into two types, that is simple permanent and complex permanent tissues. We have already discussed in detail about the simple permanent tissue. So today we will be discussing in detail about your complex permanent tissue. Now this complex permanent tissue is also referred to as conducting tissue, also referred to as vascular tissue. Now if we go just simply by the name complex permanent tissue, so name itself tells you that it's made up of more than one thing, that is more than one cells in this case. Okay, so your complex permanent tissues are made up of many cells, unlike your simple permanent tissue which were made up of just one type of cells. Okay, now complex permanent tissue, why are they called as conducting tissue? Because the complex permanent tissue, that is your xylem and then you have phloem. Now xylem and phloem, xylem helps in conduction of water and this helps in translocating the food. That's why it is referred to as conducting tissue. Now xylem and phloem together they form the vascular tissue, and these are also the transporting system of a plant. Okay, so first let us discuss about xylem. Now what are the different cells that makes xylem? First let's discuss about that. Though in detail about the function of the different cells of the xylem you will study in class 8. Okay, so for class 7 you just learn the name of different types of cells which makes up the xylem. So those are you have tracheids, then you have vessel, xylem vessel, then you have xylem parenchyma, and you have xylem fiber. These are the cells which makes up your xylem. Now this tracheids, vessel and your xylem fiber are made up of dead cells. They are made up of dead cells. This xylem fiber, tracheids and vessel, whereas your xylem parenchyma is made up of living cell. It is made up of living cell, and among these four, your tracheids, vessel and for certain extent even your xylem parenchyma helps in conduction of the water. As we know the function of a xylem, what does it do? It helps in conduction of the water which is absorbed by the root to different parts of the plant. So it helps in conduction of water. Water is absorbed by the root from the soil, so from root to different parts of the plant it is transported or conducted with the help of xylem. So the cells which helps in conduction are your tracheids, vessel and your xylem parenchyma to certain extent, whereas your xylem fiber just helps in providing the strength to the xylem, making it tough or rigid. Okay, so can you tell me the function of a xylem now? Obviously, right? It helps in conduction of the water. Okay, now since your xylem cell wall is made up of component called lignin, and as we know that lignin is a hard substance, okay, and it provides the plant its strength, mechanical strength or flexibility, right? So because of which this xylem, because of the presence of lignin, xylem also provides the mechanical strength to the plant, the rigidity to the plant. Okay, now let's discuss about the another type of complex permanent tissue. What are those? What is that? It's phloem. So remember the spelling also properly, okay? Phloem, phloem. So what are the different types of cells which makes up the phloem? So you have sieve tube, then you have companion cell, then you have phloem parenchyma, then you have phloem fiber. These are the 4 different types of cells which makes up the phloem. Okay, now from these 4 types, your sieve tube, companion cell and phloem parenchyma, all these 3 are made up of living cell, whereas your phloem fiber is made up of dead cell. Now, what is the role of a phloem? It helps in translocating the food. Now, where is food prepared in the plant? It is prepared in the leaves. So, from leaves to different parts of a plant, it is translocated with the help of phloem. Now, as we know that phloem are made up of 4 different types of cells. So, what are the translocating or conducting element in this case? So, it's your sieve tube and companion cell. This too helps in conduction of the food or translocation of the food from the leaves to different parts of the plant. Okay, so I hope you understood the function. More in detail about the complex permanent tissue you will be studying in class 8. The first chapter itself is in regard to complex permanent tissue, that is transportation in plants. But in class 7 you just have to have an idea about, when I say complex permanent tissue, you should to be able to tell me what are the names of complex permanent tissue. What is it? It's xylem and phloem. You should be able to name the different cells which makes up the xylem and which makes up the phloem. So I hope you will be able to name it after this session, and then you should be able to tell me the function. As soon as you hear the word xylem, conduction of water. As soon as you hear the word phloem, it's translocation of the food. Okay, so that's all for this particular class, and we here end this particular chapter, that is chapter 1, plant tissue. Okay, so in our next class, that is on Monday, we will be again discussing the same topic through a virtual class. Okay, I request more and more students to attend the virtual class, because there we somehow will be having one-on-one interaction, and that way I will also be able to understand whether you are getting what I am teaching you through the video or not. Okay, and I also request you people, after you go through this video, try to solve the question and answer from recalling ideas and understanding ideas. From understanding ideas, do it only till short answer question. No need to do long answer question. Skip long answer question. Okay, do it only till short answer question. After you complete your work, if you have problem in any of the question, you can always come forward and ask me. Okay, and after a while, after you are done with the work, later on I'll send you the question and answer, which you can match up with the one you have written. Do not directly copy it from mine. Okay, first try to do it yourself also, so that you know how much you have understood this particular chapter. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.